and mechanically bonded together. Little by little, a felt-like fabric was created. From the very beginning, Hijiosa knew that in spite of all the challenges, it would become an alternative to leather. Nevertheless, in the early stages of the invention, she struggled to convince others of the idea. Carmen Hijiosa had a plan. A lacquer-like coating could give the felt material the necessary properties to comply with market requirements and, at the same time, give the end product its color. Initial tests were promising. The material was quite similar to real leather in terms of water resistance, robustness, and durability. But there was a fundamental problem. The coating initially consisted of 40% petroleum-based resins, something Hijiosa wanted to avoid at all costs for ecological reasons.
The first coating wasn't 100%, but I launched the product because if you don't launch the product, you don't test the market, you cannot go anywhere. I'm not just in a laboratory trying things, I'm a maker, I want to put things out into the market.
After several years of development work, Hijiosa succeeds in reducing the proportion of petroleum-based resins to 5%, without the material losing its leather-like qualities. A big step forward in terms of sustainability. Equally important, there's no shortage of raw materials. According to Carmen Hijiosa, over 27 million tons of residual biomass is discarded every year from the pineapple harvest. That alone could cover the entire current annual leather production for shoes worldwide, without using up additional land and other resources, says Carmen Hijiosa. In 2011, Hijiosa applies for a patent for Piñatex, a key step on the way to the product's success. Nearly 3,000 brands in 80 countries already use Piñatex, many of them from the fashion world. But numerous other industries are beginning to discover the new material as well. Hijiosa's alternative leather, a combination of economic success and an ecologically and ethically sound product.
Did you just eat the cookie that was in that bag?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah. This wasn't your cookie, right? Oh.
Yep.
I thought all this was communal.
Oh, yeah, well, these are, but that had my name on it.
Did it? Well, maybe, next time it'll probably be safer in your office.
Oh, yeah, well, we keep the food and the fashion separate. I'm sad to say goodbye to a woman who in the last 3 years has been the calm center to our daily storm. I'm sorry about last night.
I just want you to be happy, wherever you are.
That's actually what I wanted to talk to you about.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Good evening, Bahamas. I'm Shashina Wolf-Farquharson. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping the news this evening, it's day 2 of the new school term, and officials say it has been smooth sailing so far. For months now, students have been utilizing the Ministry of Education's online learning platform. Our Jamila Mizik visited schools in the West today and tells us school officials say they're all happy to be back in the classrooms.
Students in the Western District returning to the classrooms for the second day this week, and principals at the Bartlett Hill, Martintown, and West End Primary Schools say so far it has been a smooth return.
We have had the assistance of the Royal Bahamas Police Force, 8 Mile Rock Division, who's assisting us with the traffic flow in the morning. We are just excited to be back. and we see the excitement on the children's faces along with the parents.
Teachers and children were excited to come in. They came in their uniforms. Those who didn't have uniforms, they came anyway. They came excited. Parents were excited to have them back, and we are just here willing to make sure they learn what they need to learn.
Today was even better. The flow it was much better this morning, and so we were able to just get our students in the class. Everything went smoothly. Everyone knew where to go, and we got started promptly at 9 o'clock.
And while many schools are operating using the hybrid model, the primary schools in West Grants, Bahama are operating face-to-face.
We do have a staggered break and lunch period that eliminates the children, all of the children being out at the same time. And because of our numbers being so small in such a large building, we can accommodate the complement of students that we have enrolled here.
We have the space. Students are able to social distance in the classroom. We are fully face-to-face. And so they are also able to social distance at the break and lunch times because we have staggered break and lunch.
They say based on the numbers, there were more students who showed up in person than those who were logging on virtually.
Currently, we have 245 students enrolled, and we would have already had parents yesterday morning and this morning coming to transfer students in. So that's a process that we're working on, because we would like to see 100% of those 245 students show up before we add to that number.
Between yesterday and today, our numbers face-to-face is much better. We had about 70% yesterday, and we're up to about 80%.
We actually called parents. We've given them a little love reminder that school is open. Some of them are having shoe issues. The children would have had shoes from September and they didn't wear them. So now the shoes are too small, but put a pair of tennis on them, put a pair of slippers on them, send them to school. Uniform a little bit too tight, that's okay. Put something clean on them, send them to school.
And as for how they will prepare for national examinations,
all we can do is the best that we can given the time period that we have. If the Ministry of Education does decide to go ahead with the GLAD exams, which is a diagnostic exam, we will be ready.
They've started with reading and math assessments to see where the students are coming back at. We're also doing a lot of intervention, bringing those students who never logged on or logged on inconsistently. We're trying to get them brought up to date.
Now over at the 8 Mile Rock High School, Principal Chester Cooper says they are operating using the hybrid model.
We are overjoyed, happy, elated, all those terms you can use, that we are finally back up and running. And I'm still not pleased with the attendance level. I expect to see every child who's registered, and then some. But of course, that's not the case as yet. But we begin the process today of reaching out to those parents whose child has not yet attended school.
And he says, despite the challenges, they will do what is necessary to ensure that all students are better prepared to sit their national examinations.
We had to put together intervention strategies in hopes of them coming in January. So that process began yesterday. Whereby those kids who didn't log on, we began to go over topics, and it's going to be a lot of work for them. Once they're focused, they can do it. But like I said, our teachers, they're up to the task, and they're ready to go.
Jamila Missick, ZNS Network News.
Well, meantime, the private schools have reopened, and students and children are said to be excited to also be back in the classrooms. School leaders say the health and safety of students and teachers are top priority. Jay Philippe reports.
Private schools on Grand Bahama also making a return to face-to-face learning. Over at Mary Star of the Sea Catholic Academy, the students have returned to the hybrid model, which is a continuation from last semester. Principal Joy Ritchie telling us that the primary school has welcomed back all students, while the high school has moved to a hybrid model.
We have all of our primary in from K to 6, and they are in their little bubbles. And again, their social movement is limited. The teachers would come to them, they stay in their homes. Obviously, this is a good time now for them to come outside, get some fresh air. The high school, we have grades 7, 9, and 11 would come on a 6-day rotation, and then they would stay home, and then 8, 10, and 12 would come on their 6-day rotation. And we've done that in the high school based on where the classes are on the campus. It gives optimum separation with regards to the students when they have to come outside for breaks. They are strategically separated.
At Sunland Baptist Academy, Principal Devonia Knowles says students, teachers, and even parents are excited about the return of in-person classes at the school.
We have our elementary students on campus this week, and we will rotate. Next week, our elementary students will remain at home virtually while our high school students come in. So we've done a little bit something different for the start of the school year. And we're doing that for these first 2 weeks while we write in to seek approval to have 100% of our students back on campus.
The majority of the private schools on island welcoming their students to the classroom. Bishop Michael Eldon School was no exception, as Vice Principal Natasha Pinder says they had high expectations.
Everyone was excited to be here today. Now, as usual, with COVID being what it is, we have our protocols in place, temperature checks as soon as students come in, they're sanitized as they come in. All the classrooms in anticipation of them coming were properly sanitized. So we were just ready for them to come in this morning.
Principals outlining some of the strategies that their respective institutions are following to safeguard students, teachers, and administration from the possible spread of COVID-19.
We have built into our schedule sanitization periods where they are not just using the liquid sanitization or sanitizer, but they actually wash with soap and water at least 3 times.
We're continuing to monitor our students as far as, ensuring all day, talking to them about keeping their masks up over their nose, sanitizing their hands, remaining socially distant from their friends, even though that's difficult for them.
Now, parents are not allowed on the school campus, and parents are asked to drop off and pick up their students in an orderly fashion to avoid large gatherings at the entrance of the school grounds. I'm Jay Philippe, ZNS Network News.
Bahamians are being encouraged to get certified as there are major opportunities in the pipeline for those who prepare themselves. Sabrina Brown has more.
Endless opportunities are on the horizon for Bahamians who take advantage of the certification training program at the Bahamas Technical and Vocational Institute. Head of the Construction Department, Kenton Roker, says the National Center for Construction and Educational Research certification program being facilitated through Valencia College in Florida in a number of course offerings can open doors for quality, high-end employment.
We have a number of companies. You have the one in Eleuthera by Disney. You have Exoma. And we also have in Florida where they're asking for only NCCER certified persons. That's what they're asking for. You don't just go and apply for a job. You must produce your card saying that you're certified. And for the apprenticeship level, which is you might just have the core, go to level 1, 2, and 3 in any area of construction.
In fact, he says 3 mega private companies have already submitted a request to BTVI for NCCER certified workers.
We have to produce 500 Bahamians certified in NCCER by June. 500. And once you've completed that, you have a job waiting on you. And so it's very important that we go at this nonstop to produce 500 Bahamians. And the companies, they don't want foreigners. They told us they want Bahamians. Think about it. They bring in foreigners. They got to pay for work permit. But we as locals, we live here. And so it's cost effective for them.
He believes the value of attaining certification cannot be overstated.
Certification is the way to go nowadays. Employers are not looking for a degree, because I can have a degree but still don't understand that area. When you're certified, that means you're certified in that specific area. And that's what we're pushing now, certifications.
BTVI is partnering with New Life Worship Center to provide free training for Bahamians starting from high school.
Could you imagine a 10th grade student graduating from high school with a level 3 or level 4 degree in a specific area? He's job ready, marketable. He can demand a salary.
Sabrina Brown, ZNS Network News.
The Ministry of Health reporting 2 additional COVID-19 deaths. Both are females from New Providence. One passed away on January 15th, the other on January 19th. The Ministry of Health and Wellness reporting that there is an additional death under investigation. The total COVID-19 death toll stands now at 731. New infections are now in the triple digits again. 101 to be exact, 72 in New Providence, 12 in Grand Bahama, 5 in Abaco, 2 in Exuma, 4 in Andros, 3 in Cat Island, 1 each in Long Island, Eleuthera and Bimini and Cat Key. Hospitalizations are at 137. 30 of those cases are in Grand Bahama. There are 7,431 active cases, 206 recovered to date. Stay with us, there's more news on the other side of the break.
Come on down. Now. Come on down. Now.
Third Dimension on Yellow Pine Street introduces its new home improvement center. Step into our brand new, fully stocked showroom for the latest in doors, tiles, housewares, kitchenwares, bathwares, vanities, power tools, electrical, and plumbing supplies. So stop by our showroom to view our full range of products or call the Home Advisor hotline at 602-0935 today. We are your home advisors.
Let's move forward for community development. Let's move forward for progress. Let's move forward together.
Re-elect Frazette Gibson for Central Grand Bahama on Thursday, January 27th, 2022.
And then that's it. All right. Yes, I just need a radio and a plug.
Wait, it's on. Wait.
Be mindful that criminals are looking for a safe target. We would like to assist you in not becoming a victim of car theft. Do not leave your keys in the ignition of your vehicle unattended. Please ensure that your vehicle is properly locked and secured. In addition, do not park your vehicle in a poorly lit area.
This message is brought to you by the Royal Bahamas Police Force, creating safer communities.
Support me together, break me apart again. No doubt about
The King of the North is back. Power 104.5 FM.
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. The Falcons Boys Club celebrating the Silver Jubilee this past weekend. The club has been instrumental in building the lives of young men over the years. And on Saturday, members past and present paused to say thanks. Chief Philippe reports.
The Falcons Boys Club is celebrating 25 years of service to the community. It was a time of prayer, praise, and thanksgiving at the Champs Community Center near Hawksbill as young men of the Falcons Boys Club, both past and present, joined in the celebration. Director of the Falcons Boys Club, Pastor Darren Roll, reflecting on the history of the club, noting that it was a group of teachers who saw the opportunity to invest in young men some 25 years ago.
Oswald Simmons, Darren Roll, and Kirkwood Young sat down as teachers. The Falcons Boys Club was started because we decided that we're going to give away our summer and we're going to travel with children. The Falcons Boys Club was not started by nobody else. For 25 years, those two men, along with myself, along with Mr. Lionel Morley, who's not here today, along with Mr. Nelson Welburn, who's here, Mr. Philip Wedderburn, who's here, Mr. Rick Russell, who's not here this afternoon. Those are the men who were helping us work with these young men over the past 25 years. And guess what? We've done it for free. For free. You've never paid. You've never paid. And as long as I be alive, you'll never pay.
Roll also sharing the #1 goal of the Falcons Boys Club this year.
For 2022, the Falcons Boys Club, our #1 aim is we want to see 2,000 men and boys saved. That's our #1 aim. We're going after that. And starting this year, if you go on my Facebook page, I'm asking men, if you are a Christian man, a man that loves God, or a man that loves his community, and a man who's not going to cause us no issue with young boys, and I ain't afraid to say that, because for 25 years, I've messed with none. Yeah. Any man that wants to help us to mentor young boys, the Falcons Boys Club, these are our cards here, I'm asking you, please, to help us.
Also delivering remarks at the ceremony was Superintendent Wendell Clark of the Royal Bahamas Police Force.
Whatever you do, have manners and respect. That's order #1. Because it says manners and respect will get you through the world. And that says that no matter what you do, what you achieve, if you don't have manners and respect, there's a chance that your goal may be cut short.
The Minister for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Ginger Moxie, taking time out to commend the Falcons Boys Club for the work in the community over the years.
To Pastor Darren Roll, Ozzie Simmons, Kirkwood Young, executives, coaches, and volunteers of the Falcons Boys Club, you have dedicated your lives to this organization to create a safe place for young men where they can sweat, vent, and find consolation when they need it. You are dignified leaders, and the community of Grand Bahama is indebted to you for the work you've done.
I'm Jay Philippe, ZNS Network News.
The Island's Luck Foundation giving parents a helping hand as they prepare to send their children back to school this week. Some parents say this investment in the nation's youth comes at a time when they need it most. Here again is Jay Philippe.
Well, IL Cares is stepping up to the plate to help students with purchasing uniforms for the start of the new semester on Grand Bahama. Marketing Executive, Davina Rutherford.
The IL Cares Foundation realizes how difficult these times are, and we just wanted to do a little something to help the parents to make it a little easier to prepare for back to school. Today we're giving away $50 gift vouchers to Pat's uniforms so that parents would be able to go and buy uniforms. Getting books, pencils, those things, yes, they're necessary, but they're a little easier to attain. Uniforms are a little bit more expensive, and we figured this would go a longer way. It would be a little bit more impactful. So we decided this is how we're going to do our give back. And we know the parents are going to be appreciative since there was a last-minute announcement about school opening.
Parents and children stood in line on the outside of the Raven Mall, waiting to enter the mall to receive supplies.
When they get the bags, they don't realize that there's a coupon in it. And once we tell them what's in the bag, they're so grateful.
Speaking of grateful, this parent expressing gratitude for the gesture. She says it came right in time as students prepare to return to the classrooms.
I know things are tough out there in Grand Bahama, so something like this is extremely important, and I know the parents appreciate it very much. Me as a parent, and my nephew that received a voucher and some books, it's really nice.
The Kiwanis Club was also on hand distributing vouchers for the purchase of uniforms. Director Anushka Colley-Roll says the Kiwanis Club felt compelled to reach out and help the children of Grand Bahama.
Our motto in Kiwanis is serving the children of the world, and wherever we can partner to assist in our community, we are always there and available, a non-profit service organization. So anytime we see, especially Davina, spearheading something, we always offer our assistance to her, and today is no different.
I'm Jay Philippe, ZNS Network News.
And tonight we feature one of our biggest supporters. He's a young man who quickly became a friend of the Northern Service. And tonight we say a big happy birthday to a future reporter. Jamila Mizik reports.
14-year-old Lucas Wildgoose is a young man with a heart of gold, an impressive memory, and he's ZNS Northern Service's self-proclaimed biggest fan.
My favorite channel on the news is ZNS News Update. On the update, I saw you talking about Shavonne Roberts and Michael Strawn or Hurricane Dorian, and you did an awesome job talking about all those things you do today.
Lucas's grandmother, Paula Wildgoose, says although he is autistic, his ability to learn is impeccable.
During the pandemic, I used to have him, I teach him. I teach him the Bible stories. And so what I used to do is let him memorize it, and then he used to say, "I'm Lucas Wildgoose." I said, and from then, "I'm Lucas Wildgoose, and I'm reporting from Seminole," and so he started from then.
And here's what he says he wants to be when he's all grown up.
When I'm 18 years old, I'll work at the Northern Service. So when I'm 18, I'll work here, so you can help me work with the papers.
And that was his ZNS News Hands Up Play Club. Join us at 6:30 this evening for all the latest news in the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. I'm Lucas Wildgoose. Have a wonderful Tuesday.
Happy birthday, Lucas, from all of us here at ZNS Northern Service. Jamila Missick, ZNS Network News.
Excellent story, Jamila. Lucas told me today that he is coming for my job. So in 4 years, it's yours. And that's going to do it for us here in the North. When it comes to news, sports is up next with our Jay Philippe.
Good evening, I'm Jay Philippe and welcome to Sports. We have a few updates as it relates to college women's basketball and also track and field at the collegiate level. But first and foremost, softball in Grand Bahama is making a case to return, hopefully, in the next few months. The Grand Bahama Amateur Softball Association is hoping for the return of softball for the 2022 season. Current president of the league, Hansel Colley, is optimistic that the games will be played in the next few months at the softball park at the Grand Bahama Sports Complex. Colley gave us this update.
No letter has been forwarded us yet, but we're just waiting until after this AGM and election. Once that is completed, then we will go all the way and sending them official letter. Well, we already reached out to the Bahamas Softball Federation and let them know what is applied over here in Grand Bahama. And they are working on Nassau and to try and get this field in 100%. So hopefully by May, everything will be in place.
Umpire of the league, Michael Bain, better known as Mikey, says they are looking forward to bringing softball back to Grand Bahama.
We have things in place that we trying to implement bringing back softball back in Grand Bahama. Is that we need to get more of the young kids back into softball, starting to have tournaments, reaching out to the community, try to get those kids back into softball who was here before. And I tell everyone on the board is that I'm not the chief umpire for Grand Bahama. We just lost Mr. Brent Spence earlier part of this year. And now all focus is going to be now was trying to at least have somebody to be the head official in Grand Bahama.
Switching it up now from the softball park to basketball, Coach Yo and our Ole Miss women's basketball team cracked the top 25 poll on Monday for the first time since 2007, ending a 15-year absence from the rankings. The 17-2 Rebels broke into the rankings at number 24 after knocking off then 23-ranked Kentucky team on Sunday, their second win over a ranked opponent this season. They are 6-0 on the road this season and have already won more conference games than they did in each of the previous 4 seasons. Coach Yo's squad is finally starting to get the recognition they deserve, but they face a tough task this week when they travel to Columbia to take on South Carolina, who is currently ranked as the number 1 team in the country. And finally, in sports, on the track, former Tabernacle Falcons Shaquille Higgs competed at the Cobo Open, which was held at Concordia College in Moorhead. Running out of lane 5, Higgs won the 60-meter hurdles with a time of 9.03 seconds. Higgs also ran the 200 meters at the South Dakota State University D2 Invitational. Running out of lane 2, the senior sprinter finished 4th overall in a time of 22.88 seconds. And that's all I have for you in sports this evening. I'm Jay Philippe. Be blessed.
At Lake Pavilion, we have pre-need, current plot, and niche packages. We are located at number 1 Coral Place, Sergeant Major Drive. Come visit us today and let us ease the burden by planning ahead.
Make your company representative stand out through an embroidery design on your uniforms from Janae's Uniform Center, Chesapeake Road. Janae's utilizes the latest state-of-the-art embroidery technology to monogram large and small quantities of shirts, caps, bags, and other articles. If you don't already have a digitized logo, Janae's can design and digitize your idea and bring it to life. Then install the logo of your choice from their large selections of 27 stock colors of golf shirts in cotton or dry fit, caps, or workwear. Call 394-8385 or 6 or visit www.janaes.com.
Look, I don't know who Shawnee think I am, all right? I only win 2 BAISS championships. I deal with connectivity.
Alive. What do we got?
Well, we are 100% Bahamian owned, and we inspired all Bahamians to believe in best. And we delivered on revolutionizing telecommunications in the Bahamas. Not to mention, our network works in the good days and the bad.
Thank you. But I need you to go faster. Be better.
Check out the Kids Kingdom menu at Shape Your Crate, located at number 9 West Mall Drive, or call them at 82 Shape and you'll get a special surprise from Mr. Crepey. See you there. Bye.
Almost everyone will become a pedestrian at some point in time in their lives. Whether we're driving or walking, we all have a shared responsibility in knowing and following the rules of the road. Pedestrians should do their part by following traffic signals, using crosswalks or intersection, or by walking facing oncoming traffic if they must be on the road. And just like drivers should not be distracted, the same rule applies for pedestrians. Let us all do our part in making pedestrian safety a priority. After all, it's about creating safer communities. I am WPC 3428 Bean of the Royal Bahamas Police Force, Traffic Division, Grand Bahama.
They try to push rich on me, they want push rich on me. They don't care in front of company.
The King of the North is back. Power 104.5 FM.
Your number 1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Tipper Knowles, you have been selected as our Facebook Friend of the Day. We appreciate your support. And that's going to do it for us here in the North. On behalf of our entire ZNS News team, we want to say a special happy birthday to Lucas. We know that you will enjoy. That's going to do it for us. The Bahamas Tonight continues.
Coming up in the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, the government back in the business of building homes. The Health Minister defends the Prime Minister. 2 New Providence residents counted among the latest COVID deaths. And collegiate athletes shine on the track. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, starts now.
This portion of the news is brought to you by BTC Superfast Internet for Less. Best rate, no debate. Sign up today.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Akash Lopendo. Welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Thanks so much for tuning in. The government expects the first beneficiaries of its affordable housing program to turn the key to new homes by September. It was announced during an open house today that more than 400 homes will be constructed in areas including Fire Trail Road, Carmichael, and South Beach, as the government seeks to restart a housing initiative on hold for the past 5 years. Keishla Adderley leads us off tonight.
The Department of Housing Affordable Housing Construction Program is officially on its way to building housing for Bahamians.
Housing Minister JoBeth Colby-Davis is building confidence among hundreds seeking affordable housing with a wide range of options on the table.
First is 43 lots in an upscale community in South Beach called Pine Crest. Using our PPP initiative, the necessary infrastructure will also be put in place while houses are being constructed. These homes will cost from $167,000 to $182,000. The other areas will be portions of Dignity Gardens subdivisions and the Fire Trail subdivision, as well as a number of lots on scattered sites in the inner city. These houses will be constructed by our small contractors and paid for by the government by mobilization and stage payments. The cost of the houses on these lots will range from $110,000 to $160,000. The largest project will take place in Carmichael Village. There are about 365 lots. The infrastructural work has just been completed in phase 1 and will begin for phase 2 shortly.
Construction partners will include those investing their own funds and bearing the financial risk to build in areas where there's already infrastructure. Others will be tied into a government program.
We have established our Small Contractors Program. This initiative is for smaller contractors who are prepared to build for the government, albeit on a small scale. They will require a mobilization fee and will also be paid in stages.
There are 3 options for the homes, 2 and 3 bed options ranging in size from 867 to 1,228 square feet. These 2 home seekers are ready to settle in.
It is a dream. It is a dream that I hope come through. Yes, the process is going smoothly.
What did you hope to achieve?
At least to leave here to say that I'm pre-approved at least for something. And the houses are really the 3 plans that they have is really nice. So the one I think is 3 bedroom, 2 bath. I think that one, the square feet is much. I think it's like 2,020 or something like that. But the biggest one there, because I have my family is sort of big.
So how soon can prospects expect work to get started?
Pinecrest, we're going to be looking to break ground on that. I think this Thursday, they're ready to go. Carmichael, the PPP team is also ready to go, but obviously, like I said, we want to make sure our infrastructure work starts. So that should be maybe another month or 2 that we can really give a proper time of when that's going to start. But we're hoping to have some homes turn in the keys by September of this year.
The Department of Housing's open house fair will continue for the remainder of this week. Keishla Adderley, ZNS Network News.
Meantime, the former administration's Prospect Ridge housing development targeting young professionals will likely be scrapped. Housing Minister the Honourable JoBeth Colby-Davis telling reporters today that the results of a review are about to be presented to Cabinet.
So we gave a briefing to Cabinet, and we're just waiting for them to give a final response. But I would say that from my tech team, they have recommended that we leave it alone and move elsewhere. And so what they've been doing is they have a serious, intense program on finding other areas of land that we can build on.
The Housing Minister attributes environmental concerns and unrealistic costing for the plan being unfeasible.
There's a lot of issues that came out of the DEP report that I tabled, and a lot of them had to do with environmental concerns, whether or not it was quite possible. And if that has larger concerns, then that means the infrastructural costs could have been exuberant. And so that's the biggest concern, because how we divide up the cost of the lot is based on the overall infrastructural cost. So, for instance, there was a guesstimate of $15 million, but I can tell you properties near there, like Balmoral, their cost was over 25. So say that if infrastructure cost is $30 million, 300 lots, that's $100,000 per lot. That's not an affordable program.
Should the Prime Minister resign in the face of opposition calls that he step down for breach of quarantine? Well, the Minister of Health and Wellness weighs in. Here's Cleopatra Murphy.
Prime Minister the Honourable Philip Davis has absolutely no need to resign, according to Minister of Health and Wellness the Honourable Dr. Michael Darville.
Absolutely unwarranted. The Prime Minister spent his entire time in quarantine. He did what he had to do. And the issue is, as far as I'm concerned, with the medical professionals, when he were informed, he abide by the rules.
Darville's defence of the nation's leader comes as opposition leader Michael Pintard calls for the Prime Minister to step aside after his own admission at the memorial for Leon Griffin last week that he left quarantine to pay for Christmas gifts he had ordered. Pintard called his actions a betrayal to his own oath to uphold the law, particularly after the Davis administration passed the health rules in Parliament. According to the legislation, breaking COVID-19 quarantine carries a $500 fine.
There was no violations of the rules. The Prime Minister got a report. He subsequently decided that en route to going into quarantine, he stopped off and paid a bill, and he stayed into quarantine. The medical professionals came behind and clearly indicated that he was exposed, and he abided by the rules. So it has nothing to do with whether it was civilian or the Prime Minister. He was en route to quarantine. Self-quarantine, sir.
The Office of the Prime Minister last week issued a statement on the issue, also noting that the Prime Minister did not violate the health and safety rules, as he had not been ordered into quarantine by a medical officer, as is stipulated. It added that Davis had taken 2 RT-PCR and 1 rapid antigen test that were all negative, concluding that having also had a previous COVID-19 infection, he posed little risk of transmission. Cleopatra Murphy, ZNS Network News.
Well, health officials confirming today that 2 New Providence women, 64 and 66 years, died within less than a week of each other from COVID-19, a toll that's now at 731, with an additional death under investigation. This is Monday's reported recoveries, set at 206 for a total there of 23,881. On January 24th, 55 males and 46 females were added to the count of new infections. Of that day's total of 101, 72 are on New Providence, 12 on Grand Bahama, 5 on Abaco, 4 on Andros, 3 on Cat Island, 2 on Exuma, and 1 each on Bimini and Cat Key, Eleuthera, and Long Island. Hospitalizations are down a bit to 137, 9 of the sick on the intensive care unit. Some 586 RT-PCR tests were completed on Monday. 30 of them repeats, another 2 returning inconclusive results. Well, nearly 2 weeks after their arrival in the Bahamas, 42 of the Cuban nurses deployed to assist in the fight against the COVID-19 virus officially joined local healthcare professionals at the Princess Margaret Hospital on Monday. Health Minister Dr. the Honourable Michael Darville and PMH Administrator Mary Walker were among the senior officials welcoming the group at the hospital's legacy entrance. The nurses will spend the initial 3 months of their tenure in the emergency and surgical departments, as well as the hospital's medical wards. Promotions in the pipeline for customs officers, but Minister of State for the Public Service, the Honourable Pia Glover-Roll, says a review should be complete before the start of the second quarter.
The Special Projects Unit is working. Promotional exercises are being reviewed. The customs promotions are happening in terms of the review of files and recommendations. We anticipate within the first quarter of this year they should be completed. Of course, you know, it's a process. We have to review files, we have to look at recommendations, and the unit has just been put in place that started their work this month. I know there's been some saying that letters will be issued this month. That is absolutely impossible. The work is being done, the assessment of files is being done to ensure that, first of all, we don't miss out any people that are deserving of their promotions in this exercise.
In fact, officials want to ensure this promotion process is a thorough one.
We have some other ministries and departments that we're also looking at simultaneously. Many teachers are getting their confirmation letters. Persons throughout the service are getting confirmation letters. So it's a simultaneous exercise, but there is a full-on approach of looking at the customs department in this first month to 3 months of the year.
In other national news tonight, legislators head back to the House of Assembly tomorrow following the traditional Christmas recess. However, Wednesday's session will suspend at 10:30 for the annual Parliamentary service of Thanksgiving at Zion Baptist Church on Eastern Shirley Street. House of Assembly proceedings will then resume at 3 p.m. Tune into the ZNS Network for live coverage of the House of Assembly and the annual Parliamentary service of Thanksgiving. Well, still to come, we've got the latest on that weekend homicide on Miami Street and calls for an end to domestic violence reignited. We'll be back right after this break.
And remember to tune in to the morning edition with LaDawn Davis and Charles Fisher at 7 o'clock weekday mornings. We also have news updates at every hour starting at 2 p.m. You can then watch the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, at 6:30 and the National Report live at 7 p.m. All right here on the ZNS Network.
This portion of the news was brought to you by Sun Oil Limited Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
You have enough things to worry about. Living in a world that can seem opposite of the things you are trying to accomplish.
I can need a little help with this myself.
We're here to let you know that you don't have to go at it alone. Choose peace of mind. Choose comfort. Choose CB. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
Best rate, no delays. Best rate, no delays.
BTC gives more savings on the best fiber internet. It's super fast with super savings in every package. Compare and see for yourself. Enjoy the best home internet experience for all your work, study, and entertainment.
Best rate, no delays. Best rate, no delays.
Visit a BTC store to sign up for the best internet experience on the Bahamas' best fiber network.
Since eating at KFC, Shanika became the new savings meme. Get a KFC Mega Mash Bucket Meal with 8 pieces of tender, juicy chicken, a mega mashed potato with gravy, and 4 buttery biscuits, starting at only $20, including VAT, and save like an expert at KFC. Order on WhatsApp at 557-3663. KFC Nassau.
There's nothing as powerful as knowing where you belong. No more waiting. It's time to come home. Come home to friendly smiles. Come home to convenience. Come home to more interest on savings and lower fees. Come home to our bank and your bank. Come home to Bank of the Bahamas, your bank of solutions.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
2 families left to make funeral arrangements as the case of 21-year-old Heavenly Tervia's shooting death this past weekend takes another twist. This in the face of family members and authorities renewing a now all too familiar call for victims of domestic abuse to seek assistance.
2 days after turning the gun on himself after allegedly shooting dead his ex-fiancée, Fenron Ferguson died in hospital Monday evening, as confirmed by the police. His death now adding another element to what initially was a homicide investigation. But with both the victim and the alleged perpetrator now dead, is there still an active investigation? Or have authorities already closed the book on the incident? Well, that's a question we asked Central Detective Unit Lead Investigator Chief Superintendent Michael Johnson.
That investigation is still ongoing, and that would be treated as any other homicide investigation. We're still speaking to witnesses as to try and get a clear understanding as to what occurred that night. And on completion of our investigation, we would make certain recommendations and present that file to the DPP's office for consultation.
The Miami Street incident again shining the light on domestic abuse and the need for victims themselves to take that crucial step and speak out.
I would advise any person, male or female, who is in any sort of abusive relationship, seek some sort of professional help. If it's physical abuse or sexual abuse, report those instances to the police and allow us to do a proper investigation and bring some redress to your complaint. But you are to seek some professional help. Do not hide any form of abuse.
Grappling with the tragedy, Heavenly Sister Denise Turvius echoed such sentiments, admitting that she's trying to stay strong for her family.
I mean, I know a lot of people say, you know, why she didn't leave him and stuff. I just want them to know that she did, she built up the courage, and she did, even though, it was, a little ass. But at the end of the day, she made the choice and she left him. You understand? I would tell anyone, I don't know their situation. I don't know your situation or anything like that, but if you're in an abusive relationship, that's not love, honestly. And sometimes young people don't want to hear, oh, leave your boyfriend or, stuff like that. But they could actually save your life.
A mother, daughter, sister, and friend, Denise says Heavenly will also be remembered for this.
She was always smiling. She was quiet. When she laughs, it's like a little giggle, I can't really describe it, but when, if we talk and stuff like that, like she had a giggle, like I can't even giggle like that. It's just really hard for me to talk about her right now.
Turvius thanked everyone for the encouragement and assistance in recent days. A vigil is scheduled for Wednesday at 6 p.m. on Miami Street, where Heavenly spent her final moments alive.
Well, police bearing the brunt of criticism after a case of domestic violence turned deadly here in the capital. Family members say had officers been more proactive, the outcome could have been much different for the young mother whose death leaves behind an orphaned newborn son. However, the Minister of National Security says it's not that simple. Cleopatra Murphy reports.
Hindsight is 20/20, according to Minister of National Security, the Honorable Wayne Monroe, as he defended police against criticism that had they done more, 21-year-old mother Heavenly Turvius, who was gunned down at her parents' Miami Street home on Saturday, would still be alive. Family members say the deceased, who had been a victim of domestic violence, had been living in fear for 2 weeks since leaving her ex-fiancé, Fenron Ferguson, who allegedly just days before taking her life had broken up her vehicle. However, Monroe contends that no formal complaint is on record.
What we do not see in the system is any indication from her, for instance, that he shot at my sister. He is on bail, which he would have been aware of. Had they known that, it would have triggered a different response.
The minister says there was one report of damage to Turvius' vehicle on January 16th, a common complaint.
Police control room dispatched a patrol car. The suspect was not there. They questioned the complainant. Having questioned the complainant, she attempted to get him to return there so they could arrest him. He didn't return. She was advised to make a formal complaint to the Grove Station, who has investigators. The matter was assigned a case number, but there's no indication that she actually went to the Grove Station and made a complaint for follow-up.
Monroe says patrol officers are not investigators, and once someone is found committing an offense, a warrant or written complaint are needed. He admits, though, that police can do more, but that the force is limited in what it can do.
If we had maybe 1,700, 2,000 more policemen, once the complaint is assigned, then the police could go and look for complainants. Generally, people are directed to go to the nearest police station, which was the Grove Police Station, and make a complaint. Manpower restraints doesn't permit the police with all of the responses to go looking for you. And so we do require some cooperation from the public. And the clearest cooperation is if you tell us everything, then we'll have all the information to respond.
Monroe explains that in incidents of domestic violence, once a formal complaint is made, there are protections in place for victims.
It depends on the circumstance. If there's a relationship of cohabitation, the domestic violence protection order permits judges to exclude persons from homes, to issue protection orders. If you threaten somebody, you'll be charged with an offense. You go before the court. If you continue, you will breach the condition of your bail, and then we have some place where we will house you till your trial comes up if you insist on continuing to breach the conditions of any bail granted.
In light of the young mother's slaying, the Minister of National Security again stressed that violence against women is unacceptable.
Can't tell me that persons don't know their sons have guns and aren't advising the police. You have to cooperate. You can't leave it until perhaps somebody comes by your house and you are unfortunately caught up in it. The police requires cooperation, and we are actively asking for your cooperation. Be open, be frank with the police about everything, and they're able better to address the circumstances.
At the end of the day, Munro says it is all about personal responsibility, and until the public buys into that, it will continue to believe officers arresting someone will save a woman's life. However, to prevent future tragedies, it must be stopped before it starts by raising well-adjusted children. Cleopatra Murphy, ZNS Network News.
Well, State Minister in the Ministry of Social Services and Urban Development, the Honourable Lisa Raming, last evening visited Heavenly Tervias' family, accompanied by grief counsellor and anger management expert for the Urban Renewal Anger Management Program, Dr. Eric Fox. Raming presented them with a wreath and expressed her condolences. The State Minister has emphasised the need for a proactive approach to drafting legislation to protect all people against violence, particularly women and young girls. The Bahamas Christian Council is meantime pressing the government to adopt a stronger stance against the social ill in the wake of a number of disturbing incidents in recent weeks. Here's Fern Carey.
Members of the Bahamas Christian Council maintain that domestic violence is never justified, and they are calling for the country's domestic abuse laws to be amended and stiffer penalties imposed on the perpetrators. The Christian Council's vice president is Pastor Mario Moxie.
We believe that this is something that we have in our country been wrestling with for so long. We must begin to look at laws. We must begin to look at all the stakeholders involved and see what we can do to come together to arrest this situation. These events are very, very tragic. Our hearts go out to the family, and usually when this happens, it's not just one family it impacts. Everyone who's ever experienced domestic violence relive the entire encounter all over again. And so we really extend condolences to all the families that have ever been impacted.
Now, domestic abuse incidents usually evoke anger and outrage in the community. However, Pastor Moxie says more needs to be done to stamp it out.
This is a wake-up call for all of us as citizens to do our part, to pay attention to what's happening around us, to look at the toxicity in relationships. And when we see something, to say something. We owe it to our brothers and sisters to at least address the matter. We may not be professionals, but we have a heart, and because of that relationship, we can connect with people and just let them know that maybe this is not the best way to proceed in a toxic relationship.
For those persons who may feel trapped in a toxic relationship, help is available.
We live in a very small knit community, and somebody always knows someone. I'm always amazed at the number of persons that would call me. So if anyone ever needs assistance with anything, I think it's important to reach out to a family member, a friend, a pastor, or anyone. But don't do life by yourself. Don't do it alone. There are always persons that you connect with, whether that's at church or at work.
The Bahamas Crisis Center also has a 24-hour hotline that persons can call. That number is 328-0922. Fern Carey, ZNS Network News.
Two men formally charged with causing grievous harm in connection with the beating of a woman last week, an incident that went viral on social media. Calvin Sargent and Dylan McKinney pleaded not guilty to the charge and were granted bail. They're expected back in court next month. Police also looking into two overnight shooting incidents, both in the Pinewood Gardens community and within minutes of each other. The first incident occurring on Wiseman Lane around 6:20 p.m. Investigating officers met a man suffering from gunshot injuries. The victim was reportedly standing outside a home when a small vehicle pulled up. An occupant opened fire, hitting him several times about the body. The victim is in serious condition in hospital. The second incident, a drive-by shooting on Spice Street. The victim in that case said to be in stable condition. Chief Superintendent Michael Johnson says at this time, there's no evidence that the two are related.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
Say goodbye to the clunky, old, outdated, tiresome way of buying insurance. Get covered in a click with First Online, a new online insurance portal from Bahamas First. It's the simple way to do insurance. Visit bahamasfirst.com to get an instant quote, pay premiums, and manage your claims anytime and from any device. First for our car and home insurance customers. It's another first from Bahamas First. What's first for you comes first for us.
When you want to save money on your tile supplies, who you gonna call? The Tile King. When you tile your house and you want to look good, who you gonna call? The Tile King.
Visit the new Tile King showroom, which is internationally recognized as the finest tile showroom in the Caribbean, located in the Builders Mall on Wolf Road.
The Tile King. Who you gonna call? The Tile King.
Tiles on everything.
We elevate, elevate, we elevate, elevate, we elevate, elevate, we elevate, elevate.
Our copper to fiber upgrades are happening on an ongoing basis. Our technical teams are on the ground in communities across the country, laying the foundation and making these upgrades happen. Like here in the Prison Lane community, this is where BTC's technical teams are making this copper to the fiber their latest stop.
Yeah, so our traditional copper network, on the BTC side, you can get up to 70 megs of internet. And on the fiber network side, our packages start from 100 megs all the way up to 600 megs. And so right now in this area, we are upgrading Fort Fincastle area, introducing new speeds to our customers, trying to make them happy. Yeah, thus far we're focusing on those three main islands. Here in the Providence, we have completed major construction in the Carmichael area, all the way as far as Carroll Avenue. We continue to build further west. We've also completed construction in the Chipping Arm area, and now we've brought construction to this area, Fort Fincastle, East Street, Market Street. As far back is Ross Corner.
And so the copper to fiber transformation is happening right now here in Fort Fincastle and communities across the country. These are the moments that move us. I'm Corvell Pipefrom. Be well and be back here. Next, BTC Connection.
Throughout our lifetime, we must all make decisions. No matter how we choose, the right one just needs to be made. Like having J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers as your insurance partner. We've been serving the Bahamas for over 100 years. Whether you need home, motor, marine, or commercial insurance, make the right decision. Call 397-2100 or visit jsjohnson.com.
JS Johnson Insurance, peace of mind.
More than $500,000 shared between a number of top local charities. The huge show of humanitarianism as FTX Digital Markets continues to support feeding initiatives, women's advocacy groups, and community outreach organizations throughout the Bahamas. Here's Antoinette Smith.
I give God praise and I give him every glory because he remembered the poor people.
Overcome with emotion, some in tears, others filled with glee, as corporate citizen FTX Digital Markets lends its support to more than 7 nonprofit organizations making the most difference countrywide.
We have done an incredible job with our team of identifying organizations that are doing good
and we genuinely look forward to solidifying our partnerships in such a way that we continue to give more so that they can do more and our country can be better.
The massive $500,000 donation for NGOs coming at a time when attention and donors have dwindled.
To get a good partnership like that, it's so wonderful because it helps you in a very wonderful way to serve more people.
Of the generous handout, Food Security NGO Hands for Hunger receiving $250,000, and the Mackey Street-based Salvation Army $50,000. The remainder sizably shared out to youth nonprofit Occupy Mentorship, Links, and the Bahamas Cancer Society. But when one recipient in particular heard of the gift towards his more than 30-year-long cause, it brought him to his knees.
But thank God for Jesus. That's real talk. Never in my born days anybody ever gave me $50,000 to feed those people. In 2020 was the lowest this country see. And let me tell you something, for days I has not slept. Just went outside from morning to evening taking care of people. And I thank God.
But it's just the tip of the iceberg for FTX, as in the year to come, the company plans to donate to more causes, impacting even more people.
We will continue to listen to individuals who need our support, and we will do our part to be a good corporate citizen so that Bahamians and residents have an improved quality of life that thrive in a modern and prosperous Bahamas.
Anthony Smith, ZNS Network News.
The Ministry of Education is leading a multi-agency task force to address the country's educational woes. School absenteeism, one of the primary issues. We hear more about it from our Carla Palmer.
So far, it seems to be going pretty well.
Just 1 day since the resumption of schools across the country for face-to-face learning using the hybrid model, and already Chief School Attendance Officer Anselo Strawn is reporting some level of success.
The attendance, and this is just the online virtual attendance, has increased by 19% at Uriah McPhee, which was one of those schools considered a hotspot.
According to Strawn, the good news is the result of several things.
I attribute the 19% increase in attendance due to several factors. The students were able to get devices to log on. And in addition to that, people became more aware of what the Ministry of Education was actually doing, that we were providing assistance, and it encouraged other students to log on.
This latest recorded success comes following the report that some 7,000 students across the country have not logged on to the Ministry of Education's virtual learning platform for the past 2 consecutive years. Now, with the establishment of a task force of personnel taking a hands-on approach and actually walking communities, looking for children not attending school and assisting wherever is needed, Strawn is optimistic the underlying objective of a more educated population will be achieved.
The task force has a 5-fold focus. Reach every child. Find every child. Support every child who is challenged. Empower each child and engage the community. The focus, I think, is very important because it just does not involve the Ministry of Education and its team, but it also involves the wider community.
From February 1st to 11th, the Ministry of Education will be conducting walkabouts. That's not only here in New Providence, but throughout the Family Islands simultaneously to draw attention to the problem of absenteeism in an awareness and educational campaign in an effort to return and sustain more children attending school on a regular basis. Carla Palmer, ZNS Network News.
Well, efforts underway to address teacher shortages and any lingering gaps within the educational system. Here's what State Education Minister, the Honorable Zane Lightbourne, shared with our news team on the issue.
We saw a short in teachers when we came in and hired nearly 100 teachers. We expect that those teachers be in place by now, and some shortages still exist. This doesn't address all of the shortages that we have had. And so where those shortages exist, we're trying our best to find supply teachers and also to find teachers aid to assist teachers who have to take on extra classes. And administration is always there to chip in where needed.
Cleveland Enyas primary school students getting a special treat on their first day back in the classroom. Member of Parliament for Pinewoods, the Honorable Miles LaRota, visited the school to pledge his support.
And I wanted to come to the school and see how things were going. I met with the principal, Ms. Roll, and the vice principal, Mr. Gibson, who were taking me on a tour of the school and giving me certain, background as to what's going on. But the kids are very excited to be back. I would have spoken to a few classes, and those children are excited to be back in school. I discussed with Ms. Roll, anything that the school may need that I may be able to assist, that I'm able and willing. She mentioned that, there's a computer lab with no computers, and I pledged to provide the computer lab with some computers within the next couple of weeks.
Now, Queens College students still have a few more days before they file into classrooms. QC teacher Conliffe Green assures, though, that all the necessary COVID-19 protocols are in place for next Monday.
I welcome the kids coming back into school. It has been a challenge trying to reach the students practically. So I do feel once they follow the protocol set out, it is safe for them to return back to school, and it's the right thing to do. QC has been prepared for the pandemic and has been dealing with it ever since. The protocols, there is a mandatory sanitization at the gate. Your temperature have to be checked at the gate. Every student, everybody who enters the campus have to have their temperature checked at the gate and also have to sanitize. And there are social distance markers all over the school. There are banners and posters sensitizing the students of the dangers of the virus and how to operate. They are reminded ever so often that they must social distance, they must be 6 feet apart.
And as you can imagine, thousands of parents across the country are elated their children are now back in school. Here's what a few of them shared with our news team earlier today.
We need the schooling for the children. The children is not learning. I sit to my dining table with all of my great-grand and grandchildren to school. They look like sometimes it's getting mixed up because they ain't used to it. That kind of learning is more like for COB. Okay? That's the COB style. Not they ready for that kind of style yet.
Some families don't even have light, electricity in their house. You have some children don't have access to tablet, internet. Homes can't afford internet.
And education is the most important thing for our youth now. And in order for them to learn, they need hands-on activity because there are many different distractions when the computer is not working. I mean, the system goes up, go down, goes back up. Isn't that like a teacher right there, hands-on?
I think it's a good idea. It will get the children off the street, and they need to be in class, because education is very important.
Well, as we head to the break, we'd like to thank all our viewers watching us live on our social media platforms. And just in case you missed the news, be sure to head there to catch up. Stay with us. There's more after the break.
Life is better with Rubis Rewards. Just fuel up and swipe for your chance to win free fuel, cash back in our stores, restaurant and store discounts from our partners, plus prizes and surprises. It doesn't get better than this. Your Rubis Reward tag is free at every Rubis service station in New Providence. Get yours today. Rubis, it's just better.
Fixed and mobile services provided by Cable Bahamas Business Solutions helps our customers help their customers adapt to the new way of paying for things. Digital wallets makes your transactions faster, more convenient, and secure. Whether it's using a debit card at the grocery store or making online payments for your monthly expenses, digital wallets powered by Cable Bahamas Business Solutions makes it better. For more information on our fixed and mobile services, contact the experts at 601-8911 in Nassau or 602-8811 in the Family Islands.
Did you just eat the cookie that was in that bag?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yep. Yeah. This wasn't your cookie, right? Oh.
Yep.
I thought all this was communal.
Oh, yeah, well, these are, but that had my name on it.
Did it? Well, maybe, next time it'll probably be safer in your office.
Oh, yeah, well, we keep the food and the fashion separate. I'm sad to say goodbye to a woman who, in the last 3 years, has been the calm center to our daily storm. I'm sorry about last night.
I just want you to be happy, wherever you are.
That's actually what I wanted to talk to you about.
Hepatitis is the inflammation of the liver, which is the organ responsible for filtering toxins from the body, producing bile for digestion, and producing proteins and clotting factors. The most important cause of hepatitis worldwide is viruses, of which there are 5 main types: A, B, C, D, and E. Hepatitis B and C are major health challenges globally, affecting over 300 million persons worldwide. The suspicion of hepatitis may be a challenge, as there are typically no symptoms. However, if infected, non-specific symptoms may include decreased appetite, nausea, vague abdominal discomfort, jaundice or yellow eyes, and abnormal liver function tests. If not treated, hepatitis of any type can lead to cirrhosis and liver cancer, which leads to over 1 million deaths worldwide. If you suspect you may have been exposed to the virus that causes hepatitis, talk to your doctor today and get tested.
This public service announcement is brought to you by the Public Hospitals Authority in conjunction with the Medical Association of the Bahamas and the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
Look, I don't know who Sean they think I am, all right? I only win 2 BAISS championships. I deal with connectivity.
Alive. What do we got?
Well, we are 100% Bahamian owned, and we inspired all Bahamians to believe in best. And we delivered on revolutionizing telecommunications in the Bahamas. Not to mention, our network works in the good days and the bad.
Thank you. But I need you to go faster. Be better.
It's a new year with new challenges. And as parliamentarians meet for the first time in 2022, they will come together for the annual Parliamentarian Church Service. This service will be held on Wednesday, January 26th at Zion Baptist Church, East and Shirley Streets at 11 a.m. The Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas will begin our broadcast live at 10:45 a.m. on the ZNS network. Join us as parliamentarians start their work by giving thanks and in prayer.
While virtual learning was working for students in Cat Island, administrators and teachers at the Cat Island Comprehensive and High Schools in Arthurstown welcomed them back to the classrooms with open arms Monday. Principal Ethel Turner anticipates a smooth transition.
As it stands right now, we have half of our grades on campus. We cover grades 1 to 12 here at Arthurstown Comprehensive School. Grades 3 and 6 are in today because these are our black grades. And for the high school side, we have our seniors from grades 10 to 12 in on campus today. Temperature checks when some children are on campus. You would notice, particularly in front of the auditorium in certain areas, we have some ground markers so the children know their social distancing, can practice their social distancing protocols.
And these Cat Island students are ready to resume their academics back in full gear.
I feel excited to see my friends again and to see the teachers and to just fun with my friends and go back together.
Today I feel happy. First, I look forward to becoming a good prefect, and then try to finish as much work as I can.
And I'm very excited to be down face-to-face with my teacher, especially Miss King, because she's one of my favorites. Us moving along, trying to get our work done, and hopefully we succeed this year. I hope to furthermore go to face-to-face to see my friends and the rest of my teachers to learn more.
Well, it's time now for a check on Family Island weather with Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Good evening, Basil.
Good evening, Makushla. Outside of our studios, we're under clear skies with a temperature of 71 degrees. The relative humidity stands at 75%. South-southeast winds at 6 miles per hour. The barometric pressure, 1,016.7 millibars. That's 30.06 inches, and the pressure is falling. Temperatures around the islands this evening, they are brought to you by Family Guardian Insurance Company. We're protecting you. 68 degrees in Freeport, Grand Bahama, and Green Tool Key and Marsh Harbor, Abaco, the Berry Islands at 70 degrees, Allenstown, Bimini, 71. 70 in Harbor Island, Rock, Sound, Eleuthera, 74. Black Point, Exuma, Kemp Space, St. Andros, and Fresh Creek in Central Andros, all at 71 degrees. 74s in Otterstown, Cat Island, San Salvador, Rum Key and Georgetown, Exuma, 75 in Ragged Island, Clarencetown, Rock Island, Crooked Island, Betsy Bay at 76, Ackland, 76, Matthew Town, United, 78, and the Turks and Caicos Islands at 79 degrees. And your boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Builders Mall, home of FYP, the Tile King, and the Paint Center. For all areas tonight through tomorrow, which is Wednesday, the winds are going to remain light and variable with flat seas. High tide takes place at 1:46 in the morning, with a low tide at 8:11 tomorrow morning. And then on Thursday in the northwestern islands, the winds are out of the northeast to east, picking up 10 to 15 knots. The wave height is building 2 to 4 feet over the ocean. Tide-wise, it's going to be low at 9:20 in the morning with the high tide at 3 or 4 in the afternoon. For the central and southeastern islands on Thursday, east to southeast winds 10 to 15 knots and the wave heights 2 to 4 feet. It's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they are brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. That's going to do it for your international temperatures, brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But stay tuned, your extended weather forecast is still ahead.
Fixed and mobile services provided by Cable Bahamas Business Solutions helps our customers help their customers adapt to the new way of paying for things. Digital wallets makes your transactions faster, more convenient, and secure. Whether it's using a debit card at the grocery store or making online payments for your monthly expenses, digital wallets powered by Cable Bahamas Business Solutions makes it better. For more information on our fixed and mobile services, contact the experts at 601-8911 in Nassau or 602-8811 in the Family Islands.
Throughout all of our Family Islands, a Family Guardian home service agent can meet all your insurance needs. We offer life, health, and property and casualty insurance policies to help protect you, your loved ones, and your assets. With offices in Abaco, Eleuthera, Exuma, and Grand Bahama, and agents throughout the islands of the Bahamas, a Family Island agent is always nearby. Family Guardian, at your service, at your door. For any inquiries, WhatsApp us at 357-9632.
Since the days of John the Baptist, the kingdom suffered violence, and the violence took it by storm, calling the afflicted, calling all souls in despair. Welcome to the Voice of Deliverance telecast from the ministry that is reaching out all over the land, delivering souls and changing lives. The Voice of Deliverance. We're on the move for the Lord.
It's a new year with new challenges. And as parliamentarians meet for the first time in 2022, they will come together for the annual Parliamentarian Church Service. This service will be held on Wednesday, January 26th at Zion Baptist Church East and Shirley Streets at 11 a.m. The Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas will begin our broadcast live at 10:45 a.m. on the ZNS network. Join us as parliamentarians start their work by giving thanks and in prayer.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
Welcome to sports, everyone. Bahamian collegiate track and field athletes turning in stellar performances over the weekend, competing for their respective schools in NCAA Division I action. Over at Tennessee, Charisma Taylor left a personal best of 6.31 meters for the Lady Wolves. The junior was in action at the Hokie Invitational at Radcliffe Fieldhouse in Blacksburg, Virginia on Saturday. She got the distance on her third jump, which moved her from 6th to 4th on the Lady Wolves indoor long jump top 10 list. It was one of 3 consecutive jumps where she went over 6 meters. Taylor placed second overall, but finished first among collegiate athletes in that event. Also securing a personal best this past weekend was Jean Jacques in the shot put. He had a heave of 16.42 meters. Louisiana Tech Bulldogs Jr. did it at the Samford University Invite in Birmingham, Alabama. The former C.R. Walker Senior High School student knew from he released his shot that it was a big throw as he started to celebrate before it hit the ground. The personal best throw came on his 5th throw of the day, was one of his 4 16-meter-plus throws in the series. He established the personal best throws 3 times on the day. He spoke with media after the meet.
Well, it was a hectic day. I tried my best. My first 2 tours, mid-tours, was kind of off. I wasn't really comfortable. And I get in the mood, and I realized I come to kill this competition today. That's what I did. I came into my best.
Well, more coming out of the meet and greet held over the weekend with the country's sports minister and representatives from the local sporting federations. During his address, Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, the Honorable Mario Bolag, saying that under his leadership, he plans to significantly increase the grants allocated to the local athletic bodies.
You know how much the government gives us? $20,000 annually. Now, $20,000 could not have gotten all of those national teams out of the country. In 1991, under the Sir Lyndon Pindon government, national federations was receiving $80,000 a year. We now, 31 years later, and we see about $20,000 a year. We pedal backwards. It is my mandate to ensure that I increase the grants for federations, for those, and those grants will be increased from where it should be 21 years ago.
The growth of Bahamian baseball being documented in a major way is several of the country's top baseball players highlighted in an article published by ESPN's affiliate site, The Undefeated, titled Baseball in the Bahamas, A Deeper Bond Than You May Realize. Writer Clinton Yates, who spent some time in the country spectating the annual Don't Blink Home Run Derby, highlighted the recent rise of professional baseball players and the increase in popularity of the sport among youngsters. Also documenting the esteemed history of Bahamian players in the MLB. For those interested in the article, they can find it on theundefeated.com. And that's been a look at sports on this Tuesday. A check on weather when we return.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
It's a part of all of our lives. ZNS TV is where we go for information, entertainment, and enjoyment. ZNS is there with something for everyone.
ZNS TV, a part of our lives for 40 years.
There's a spark of greatness in each of us. That spark is called personality. Individual gifts and talents provide the fuel to set that spark ablaze. Each child has the right to an education which values their personality and nurtures their talents, while teaching them to be respectful to their parents and their cultures.
Did you just eat the cookie that was in that bag?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah. This wasn't your cookie, right? Oh.
Yep.
I thought all this was communal.
Oh, yeah, well, these are, but that had my name on it.
Did it? Well, maybe, next time it'll probably be safer in your office.
Oh, yeah, well, we keep the food and the fashion separate. I'm sad to say goodbye to a woman who in the last 3 years has been the calm center to our daily storm. I'm sorry about last night.
I just want you to be happy, wherever you are.
That's actually what I wanted to talk to you about.
I'm here at the Dixon Hill Lighthouse in San Salvador to let you know that marine protected areas make dollars and cents. A well-designed and managed network of protected areas can generate income for nearby communities. From MPA managers to lodges to eco-tours, there is money to be made.
Healthy marine ecosystems help to protect our islands from climate change and other impacts that we cannot control. Healthy coral reefs help to break down fake waves, and mangroves absorb storm surge and help to protect our coastline.
Older and larger fish tend to carry more and healthier eggs than younger fish. Fish replenishment areas will allow fish to grow bigger and ensure that we have more fish now and in the future.
In our replenishment area, fish are free to grow and reproduce. As their populations increase, more fish will spill over into other areas where fishermen can increase their catch and their income.
I support the establishment of a marine protected area on my island.
I support the establishment of marine protected areas on my island.
I support the establishment of marine protected areas on my island. I support the establishment of a marine protected area on my island, and you should too.
And you should too.
And you should too. And you should too. See the future with Bahamas Protected.
Time now for weather.
In our final look at weather satellite pictures showing quite a bit of moisture over the Florida Peninsula. That is associated with a frontal system that's heading our way. We expect an area of low pressure to form on that frontal boundary in the Gulf of Mexico later on tonight, and that will push towards the northeast across the northwest Bahamas, triggering some showers which could be heavy to severe, particularly in the extreme northwest Bahamas around the Bimini, Grand Bahama, and Abaco areas tomorrow, and then the front itself will push through on Thursday. Our forecast for tonight calls for considerable cloudiness later on tonight as that system gets a little closer. Low temperature around 62 degrees, and tomorrow we're going in for mostly cloudy with a brief shower or two. That's around the New Providence area, but as we said, around Grand Bahama, Abaco, and Bimini, they can be heavy at times. 80 degrees for a high temperature. Extended weather forecast looking like this. Showers right through Thursday as the front will go through on Thursday, and then we'll see temperatures drop into the low 60s by Friday. The weekend looking pretty chilly with temperatures in the 50s once again, and we have another frontal system that will go through sometime on Sunday. That too will bring temperatures back down, so some chilly days are still ahead. Makushla.
Well, thanks, Basil. That does it for the Bahamas tonight. Thank you for continuing to make ZNS your first choice for news and information. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better than ZNS. From all of us here at ZNS, thank you for watching, and good night.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
The 2018 Atlantic hurricane season is fast approaching, and by now, you